Hello everyone, welcome back to Ebasiq Tutorials. I am Chandra Girish. In today's episode, we will learn about uh, Django Views. Okay, we will try to understand about Django Views, function-based and class-based Django Views. Okay, so what is a Django View? The Django View is a Python function or a class that takes usually the web request. So it can be a HTML GET request or a POST request, and that processes the logic and or interacts with the database. Okay, and it returns a web response like HTML page or JSON response or a redirect or any error kind of thing. Okay, so it's simply the Django View is simply a function or a class. And when it comes to Django MVT architecture, so model view template architecture. So model manages the data and database logic. So for example, if I have a model.py file, it actually represents the database table and the database schema. And view, it actually handles the logic. It acts as a controller, especially in Django. So if we have a views.py file, which actually receives the request, fetches the data from the model and sends it to the template. Okay. And template, it actually handles the presentation layer, which can be HTML or UI. For example, if we have a quotes.html page, then it displays the data in a user-friendly HTML format. Okay, so I'll explain this in detail when I demonstrate the code. Now, actually in Django, the view is the controller, which actually glues the model and the template. Means the view acts as a middle layer in Django MVT architecture. So the view connects the model, so which actually model, which manages your data, and the template which actually displays the UI, so that the right data is shown in the right way on the web page. So in Django, the view actually plays the role of both the controller and the view, which it controls the flow and decides what template to render and with what data. That we will see in the code, but that is the behavior. And the request response cycle, if you see, whenever a user wants to send a request, okay, so he visits the website, let's say xyz.com/home. So he visits the home page, user sends a request, then Django URL router matches it to a view. Okay, and in the view, we can get data from the model if we have it connected to the dynamically to the database, or it decides which template to use and returns a response. So that is the behavior of the view. And now Django sends to the browser back. Okay, so that is the request response cycle. So as I said, we have two types of views are there. One is function-based views, and next one is class-based views. So function-based views simply returns raw HTML or text data, and it renders the template. Okay, and we can pass the data with a context. So generally, the anatomy of a function-based view, we can process data or some DB queries, or we can prepare the context, let's say dictionary. Okay, and we can respond. It returns a response using the HTML response or using a render function. So that some few of these things we have seen in our previous episodes. Okay, so this is the behavior of function-based views. Now, class-based views. So Django also supports object-oriented programming style views using classes. So we can create a static template view, and we can also add context in the class-based views. I'll explain all these things in the code demonstration. So this is the type of view apart from function-based views. Now, if you see the differences between these two, the feature and the function-based view and the class-based view. So if it's simpler, it's a very simple, but for small tasks, it will work worse, the class-based one. And reusability wise, function-based view is not that much easy, but class-based wise, it is reusable because it uses the object-oriented programming and inheritance concepts. And readability, so clear for beginners in function-based view, and class-based view, it can be a little confusing initially, but it is very uh, reusability will be there a lot. Okay, customization. So in function-based view, it's a little basic, whereas class-based view, we have very flexible. Okay, so we can use overriding methods and mixins like that. And so we need to decide when to use what. Okay, so we can use function-based view when you are building a small application, and we want fast and readable views. So whereas class-based views we can use when you want to use some reusable patterns like all the CRUD operations, like create, read, update, delete, and forms like that. And if you need complete modularity and scalability, if your application is scaling to a big level, so then you can use CBVs. Okay, so uh, best practices. So we have to keep views small and focused. Okay, and we can use templates to separate design from the logic. So that is very important thing. And we can use the context dictionaries whenever if you want to pass data to the templates like name, age, or something like that, whichever if you want to pass data to the front end. So you can use the context dictionaries. And we can use dictionaries like @login required, sorry, decorators, not dictionaries. We can use decorators like @login_required whenever it is needed. Okay. So, and we have to choose the MB function-based views or a class-based view based on our use case, not on the hype. Okay. So these are the very important best practices that we need to follow for views. Okay. So this is the high-level explanation of understanding Django's. Now let's see the demonstration part of the views. So now this is the Visual Studio. I have opened the project, which in our earlier episode we have created a my site project, and then we created a blog app. So from that we are continuing our work. So now what we have to do here, I told function-based views, we can write a simply returning a raw HTML or a text like this. So we can simply write a previous code I commented. So I'll write it here. Easy for you. So now, so what I'm doing, so Django HTTP import HTTP response. This is by default, it will be there. Okay, so just remove this. And now we are in blocks views.py. Now I wrote home_view, which is a request I'm passing as a parameter. Now return HTTP response. Now welcome to home page. So this is simple home underscore view, which is which returns a very raw text here in this case. So HTTP response will return that. This returns a HTTP response directly with a string. Okay, so home_view is a simple Python function, whatever we wrote it here. And it receives a request object and it returns the HTTP response directly with a string text. Welcome to the home page. Now, if we want to write the same thing with a rendering template, so what we can do? So I'll just say home_view_1, that one. And now I'm writing a simple rendering page template. So I'll say just this is 2. Okay, home underscore view request. So returning the render and the request, and I'm passing the HTML home.html page. So here what happens? Django loads the HTML home.html page from your templates folder. And no need to write a raw HTML in this view because everything is written in the home.html data. In this way, we can actually create a rendering a template. Okay, so now make sure you have a render here at the top. Import should be there. Now, the next thing is you can pass data with the context as well. Okay, so in this case, what I'm doing, let's say, I'm writing one more view, home underscore view, let's say 3. So here in this case, context I'm writing, this is a dictionary. So user Chandra Girish. And now I'm returning the render function, so which has a request and home.html in the context. So template and then context, this dictionary context we are passing here. Okay, so this way also we can pass data with the context. So generally in HTML, home.html, we use this as a, for example, if I go to templates and home.html, so here I can use like this. I'll just write it here. I can use hello user. Okay, the same thing. I can print Girish and then okay, directly it is hard coded, and now I'm calling the user here, which is passed from here user as a context. Now we'll get it here and then we can display. Okay, so this is in this way also you can create a pass data with the context and call in the home.html page. Now views become dynamic here in this case. Okay, so generally, as we spoke earlier, anatomy of a function-based view. So generally we can give like a definition, view underscore name, and we can create various things just like we can say like this, view underscore name, request, step 1 optional process, data or DB queries, or prepare context, that is dictionary, return response using HTTP response or return. So this is general, in general, the view format can be like this. Now, okay, so I'll just comment. Now, so that's about a function-based view. Now, class-based views, so we can create a static template view base also. So we can actually use like this. So what I'll do, I'll just comment okay, the latest code. I want to comment these things also. Now what I did here, from Django.views generic input template view I have taken, and I created a class called about view and template view I'm passing as a parameter. Now template name equal to about.html. Okay, simply about.html. Now what you have to do, we have to add this about view class. Whenever you hit about.html page, it should redirect. So what we have to do in urls.py, we have to add the path. So if you go to urls.py, okay, so here just add the path. Here like this. So whenever user hits this about, now we have to get a about underscore view. So we can actually import that. So just add the input. Chandra Views, I'm importing about view. Okay, and then as view name about. Okay, so now what we have to do? So this is one thing. So this is about static template view. Now directly, whenever the user hits this about, so it will work. Okay? Here also in this case also, home page will work. and it will redirect to this request. Okay, so generally we use in the URL we have used as views.home. Okay, so in this case directly home we called here. Okay, now we can call here views underscore views.home underscore view1, view2, view3 like that, or we are doing views.about view dot as view as underscore view. So here what we are doing, uh, we are passing about view template class as a view. Okay, so that it is available for the path urls.py. Now I want to add this as a context in class-based view. So then what we can do, so if you want to check that, so this also for now time being, so I'll comment this. So class about view, template view, and now template I'm passing, and I'm writing it data get at context underscore data, self and keyword arguments, and then context super dot get context data, keyword super arguments, and author I'm passing returning that particular context. So here in about.html, what happens? So whatever the data that we are trying to fetch, for example, author. So if I say like this in about.html, so I can create actually templates I have not created about. So let's create a about.html. I can just simply say created by some author. So now if you see, we'll replace with that particular author. Okay. So author name it will display. Now, yeah, basically we have seen views.py. We have used the context render and HTTP response. And in home.html, earlier we have used how we can pass the variable to the user. In about.html, we have used class-based views as well as function-based views, and I showed you the examples. Now let us run this. Okay. So make sure you are in this particular project, okay, and run the project. What you do, if you want to run the project, you have to say you should be there in the same folder. One second. So in the under my site, make sure you activate this virtual environment. If you see the steps, what I did. So I'm in the project now. I moved to the virtual environment and change the scripts and then activate the virtual environment. So after that, it was in the virtual environment. Now I came back to the original folder. Okay, that way you have to come to this. Okay, and then you have to run the server. So it is very simple. What we have to do, Python manage.py run server. Okay, so run it. Okay, blog.views has no, oh, wait, 1 second. Okay, so because we have added this, we have not added home, right? So for now, let us remove this. And now let us see. Yeah, now it is running. So copy that and let me open the browser. 1 second. Okay. So in this browser, we will paste the URL. Okay, so now we will actually use the about page. Okay, so created by Girish. This is what we have wrote. And home actually we can include that. That will we can do modification also. So what I'll do, I'll keep the home once again. Okay, and then views.home, whatever we will enable this particular home page also. So both by default these two will run. So save it, and here also you save everywhere. Now even if you once again run it, will work. So if I hit this home page, I need to rerun the server. Once again. Once again, let me run the server. Okay, now I will refresh it. Okay, URLs I have not saved. That's why it is not showing. Okay, so now that is the problem. So we need to save the files. Now it will work. So if you see here, so just refresh. So now that home page also displayed. And if you go to about, that page also displays, right? So like this, the views will work. Now I'll show you one by one. So this is a home page. Now currently the about view, this one is working. Okay, template name, get context, class view is working. So let us open the function based view and see if it works or not. For now, this will I'll comment. Uh, function based view, where is that? Yeah, home underscore. Okay, view is already there. I will run this function based view also. Second. So just home underscore view, I can say, or some, what I can do. So just instead of home underscore view, it's a about underscore view. Okay, about underscore view. So here I pass about .html context. Now in the about HTML, what we wrote, only author we have given, right? So here we have given user. Okay, so I just add one more parameter here, author. Yeah, author Girish. Okay, so save it. Now this will also work for this one. So now I am passing context, user, and author Girish. So in home also we will get, about also we will get. Okay, so let us save it. And now this we have to call in the URLs.py. Now we have to add same thing for, so I'll comment this. So for views dot for function we have to add. Okay. So about underscore view we have added. Well, not saved this. Okay. Now if you go there, site. Now let us load the home page. Working. Now about working, right? So that's the thing. So like this, you can create your views. You can add your function-based views. You can add uh, your class-based views, and then you can test it here. But you have to keep on updating the urls.py file, and wherever you call the parameters, that particular parameter should make sure you are using those, the context parameters. Then it will work. Okay, so that's it for now in this episode. I hope you enjoyed the video. So we will see more features of Django in the next coming episodes. Do not forget to subscribe, like it, share to your friends and network. Thank you. See you soon in the next episode.